Over 1 million cinema lovers have already subscribed to Film Companion. What are you waiting for? Hit the bell icon and join our film family.
The latest Marvel Cinematic Universe superhero series on Disney Plus Hotstar is here. After the trippy specificity of the excellent WandaVision, the forgettably bland The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the zany spectacle of Loki, and the surprisingly fun Hawkeye, now we have Moon Knight. And there's a whole lot to be excited about. Firstly, it brings acting powerhouses Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke to the MCU. But more importantly, it's in many ways the first true blue MCU series, considering it's the first one that deals with a brand new character and story from the comics. Which is personally all I'm looking for from the MCU these days, something new. Despite being a massive superhero nerd and big Marvel fan, I for one have really struggled with the post-Avengers Endgame releases. Since the Infinity Saga ended with Endgame back in 2019, there have been 9 major MCU releases, made up of 5 movies and 4 shows, but only 2 of them have been brand new stories. The refreshingly fun Shang-Chi and Chloe Zhao's well-intentioned misfire Eternals. Everything else just feels like they've re-examined the same events from different angles and perspectives. Despite their individual achievements, these projects have essentially just had us rethinking, revisiting, and recycling the Infinity Saga in one way or another. Which thankfully brings us to Moon Knight. I've seen the first 2 episodes, so naturally I have some early thoughts. Fair warning though, there are some mild spoilers ahead for the first episode of Moon Knight. It's basically just the basic plot, so you can put the knife down. From creator Jeremy Slater, Moon Knight stars an inconsistently British Oscar Isaac as Stephen Grant. Stephen is an overlooked, lonely oddball of a character with very few friends, who works at London's Natural History Museum within the Ancient Egypt exhibit. Stephen is also a sleepwalker, or so he thinks, so he literally sleeps tied to his bed. But something's off. Odd things keep happening to him. He seems to pass out for long periods of time, waking up in strange places with no recollection of how he got there, and he often can't account for long stretches of time, sometimes even days. That is until he discovers that he has multiple personalities. He's also badass mercenary Mark Spector, who's been chosen by the Egyptian god Khonshu to be his avatar and agent of justice. Which, of course, gives him a fancy costume and some pretty powerful abilities. I mean, I say fancy costume, but despite Marvel's legacy of some pretty badass costumes, this one I sort of struggled to take seriously. He looks like a budget mummy with a cape. He literally looks like he got into a fight with toilet paper and lost. Badly. Anyway, the show follows Stephen's journey of finding out about all the aspects of himself that he never knew existed. So it's essentially then an origin story of a superhero who's already a superhero, who has no real idea that he's a superhero, who slowly finds out that he's a superhero. Marvel rarely gets the bare basics wrong, and thus far, Moon Knight is never not engaging. Oscar Isaac brings an apologetic, nervous British energy to Stephen, along with a self-assured badassery to Mark, who I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of. But more so, it's the bad guy Arthur Harrow that shines far brighter. Ethan Hawke is an excellent creepy cult leader, bringing a distinct sincerity and sensitivity to a sinister villain. He has such a gentle presence that, not gonna lie, there were genuinely times I considered signing up for his cult. Based on the first 2 episodes, Moon Knight is a genuinely intriguing mystery which slowly unravels, as we and Stephen gradually figure out who and what he is and what's happening to him. It's a very effective narrative structure. The only issue I've had thus far is that the form doesn't quite seem to live up to the promise of the content. There's a textbook Marvel blandness to the visual storytelling. Stephen is a culmination of tropes that we've seen done with more impact elsewhere. The idea of a strange booming voice in your head like Venom, or the visual inventiveness of the panic of watching somebody else have control of your body like in Upgrade. But above all, it's the psychological mystery thrillerness that thus far feels untapped. There's such a rich heritage of movies and shows that take us inside the disorienting, fractured mind of a protagonist who's constantly wrestling with what is and isn't real. Perhaps the best and most relevant example is Noah Hawley's masterfully trippy superhero series Legion, a psychological thriller about a powerful mutant from the X-Men universe with potent psychic abilities who's literally at war with his own mind. Granted, the risk-averse will only ever play its safe MCU is never going to go full-blown psychological thriller, but the point still holds. Also, I gotta say I was a tad bit uncomfortable about the idea of an Egyptian god choosing a random white British/American dude to be his champion. I'm kinda hoping they address that at some point. That aside, Moon Knight offers a mostly fun, fairly intriguing ride thus far, and I'm all in to see where this goes. Moon Knight drops weekly on Disney Plus Hotstar. Now, excuse me while I go sign up for that Ethan Hawke cult.